As a comfort watch last night, uh, took in Tremors, the 1990 film, starring Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, where they star as very humble handymen in Perfection, Nevada. This tiny little kind of blip of a town in a high mountainous valley, where the town gets terrorized by the things that come from below, the graboids, which start showing up on seismic graphs of a grad student who's taking seismic studies of the area. And it becomes sort of a siege movie where the little valley is cut off, and these creatures who seem to be like, maybe prehistoric or prehistoric creatures who've come up from down far below and have come up to start grabbing people from below and eating them all. It is a ridiculously probably overpowered kind of throwback 50s monster movie, where someone like Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward are kind of serious kind of actors. Kevin Bacon, I think, showing his talents, also is just kind of the that intensity and kind of cheesy kind of overacting intensity that he kind of successfully garnered from going from kind of more serious dramas to being kind of like super evil villains, to in this one being a not so bright kind of hothead, to Fred Ward's kind of easygoing, kind of laid back guy, which is in itself is just a part of the magic of the chemistry of just how things fell together for that movie, that they bounce off each other so well. And Ward is maybe older enough of an actor to kind of know that he can kind of sit back and let Kevin Bacon chew up the scenery, and all he has to do is smirk once in a while, and he actually gets in his own and has his own impact in the movie. We have kind of the I mentioned the grad student who, I can't remember what her name is, but it's funny because at the start of the movie, when they're driving over to see the new grad student, Kevin Bacon's character is talking about how, I want my perfect thing, which would be blonde, big breasts, legs to die for, great ass, and you get there, and if this was any other kind of a B exploitation movie, that's probably what they would have found. Instead, the actress is actually someone who looks like, hey, that could be a grad student. She's probably in her late 20s, and is dressed sensibly with kind of zinc under thing and a big floppy hat. Looks like a grad student, which is one of these things that you kind of appreciate as you go along. It's like, we're not going to over sexualize her, though her pants do get yanked off later in the movie, which is like, but these things happen. And it's just one of these fun movies. It does have an Asian American actor who's kind of doing kind of a bit of a is probably a cliche on that, a Mexican American actor who sounds a bit like Cheech Marin. I think I take them within that, these characters could actually exist. They all actually kind of participate and come up with ideas. It's not just all the kind of the white hero, even though, obviously Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon are the heroes of the movie. Just going from, the stampede at the beginning of the movie, that ties in just lovely click at the end of the movie. So it's a movie that's like kind of tightly written. It's 85 minutes. It gets in and out. The monster effects are practical and effective for the most part. I think there might be a couple of CGI scenes, but very, very, very briefly. Maybe even just a green screen, actually, if I'm thinking of the thing. Michael Gross as Burt Gummer is another standout of being a kind of not so survivalist who's who's finally like, oh, finally we're in a survival situation, and you know, one of the first things that happens is the whole bunker that he has, because it's underground, isn't going to actually work well for this threat. And they have lovely little thoughts of like the graboid or whatever it is attacks various cars, and when it attacks Burt Gummer's car, the car alarm goes off, because in the middle of nowhere, Perfection Nevada, only Burt Gummer would be the only guy who would actually have a car alarm on his vehicle, because he's that paranoid. Yes, not a deep thinking movie, but just a really pleasant, clicking along, enjoyable, not a boring moment. Little cameo from a little girl who in a couple of more years would be the girl in the first Jurassic Park movie. Probably mean that her box office is probably bigger than anybody else on that set, maybe even Kevin Bacon. Though Kevin Bacon, cumulatively probably is done pretty well for himself. So yeah, that's Trmrs. I just wanted to say, hey, fun monster movie, and just the exact sort of thing you want to kind of set up and say, hey, I watched this 100 times, and I'm probably going to watch it 100 more times before I die, and I'll probably just have a smile on my face the next time I watch it in 5 or 6 years' time. So yeah. That's all I have to say about that. More videos later.